I never thought my teacher would make me cry in front of everyone. But she did, and what happened next changed everything. My name is Maya, and I'm 11 years old. I go to Lincoln Middle School in the city. It's a big school with lots of kids from all over. Some kids are nice, some kids are mean. But I never thought a grown-up would be the meanest one of all. But before I tell you what happened, let me ask you something. Have you ever been so embarrassed that you wished you could disappear? Have you ever had someone make you feel small on purpose? Keep listening, because what my mom did about it will shock you. Let me start from the beginning. It was a Tuesday morning. The sun was shining through the classroom windows. I was sitting in my usual seat in the third row. My best friend, Emma, sat next to me. She always shared her cookies at lunch. Our teacher was Ms. Carter. She was tall with blonde hair that she always wore in a tight bun. She wore fancy clothes and high heels that made clicking sounds when she walked. She had been teaching at Lincoln Middle School for 10 years. Everyone said she was strict, but I didn't know she could be cruel. That morning, we were doing math. I loved math. Numbers made sense to me. They followed rules. They were fair. 2 plus 2 always equals 4. No matter who you are, no matter what you look like. Ms. Carter wrote a problem on the board. If Sarah has 24 cookies and wants to share them equally with 5 friends, how many cookies does each person get? I knew the answer right away. I raised my hand high. My heart was beating fast. I loved getting answers right, but Ms. Carter didn't call on me. She called on Jake instead. Jake sat in the front row. He always sat in the front row. His dad was a lawyer. Everyone knew that. Jake said, 6? Close, Jake. Good try, Ms. Carter said with a smile. I kept my hand up. I knew the right answer was 4. 24 divided by 6 people total, Sarah plus 5 friends, equals 4 cookies each. Ms. Carter looked around the room. Her eyes passed right over me like I was invisible. Anyone else? She asked. My hand was getting tired, but I kept it up. Maya? She finally said. But her voice didn't sound happy. It sounded annoyed. 4 cookies each, I said clearly, because Sarah has 24 cookies, and if she shares with 5 friends, that's 6 people total. 24 divided by 6 equals 4. Ms. Carter's face changed. Her lips pressed together into a thin line. Maya, are you sure you did that math yourself? Or did you copy from someone? My heart dropped into my stomach. The classroom got very quiet. Everyone was looking at me. I did it myself, I said. My voice came out smaller than I wanted. Ms. Carter said. She walked closer to my desk. Her heels clicked on the floor. Click, click, click. Each step made my heart beat harder. It's just surprising, she said loudly. Everyone could hear. That you got it right so fast. Usually, students like you need more time with word problems. Students like me? What did that mean? Emma touched my arm under the desk. She knew something was wrong. I'm good at math, I said quietly. I study hard. Do you? Ms. Carter's eyes were cold. Because your grades in my class have been very good. Almost too good. It makes me wonder if someone is helping you. Maybe someone at home is doing your homework for you? My face felt hot. My eyes started to burn with tears, but I wouldn't let them fall. Not here. Not in front of everyone. No one helps me, I said. I do my own work. Well, Ms. Carter said, walking back to the front of the room. I think from now on, you need to show your work more clearly. I need to see that you're really doing the thinking yourself. Because, honestly, Maya, I'm not convinced you understand these concepts as well as you pretend to. The word pretend hit me like a slap. Jake turned around in his seat and looked at me. Some other kids were whispering. I heard someone giggle. I wanted to disappear. I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. Emma leaned over and whispered, "She's wrong. You're the smartest person I know." But it didn't help. The damage was done. For the rest of the class, I didn't raise my hand once, even when I knew all the answers, even when Ms. Carter asked questions that were easy for me. I just sat there, feeling small. When lunch came, I didn't want to eat. My stomach felt sick. Emma sat with me in the cafeteria. "You should tell someone," she said. "What Ms. Carter said wasn't fair." "Tell who?" I asked. "She's the teacher. Who's going to believe me?" "Your mom would believe you." I thought about my mom. She worked a lot. She had an important job, but she never really talked about it much at home. She always said work was work, and home was home. She kept them separate. "Maybe," I said. But I didn't want to worry her. She already worked so hard. The rest of the day was terrible. In every class, I kept thinking about what Ms. Carter said. Students like you. What did she mean? Students who studied hard? Students who loved math? Or did she mean something else? I knew what she meant. I wasn't stupid. She meant students who looked like me. Students with brown skin. Students whose parents came from other countries. My mom's family was from Jamaica. My dad's family was from here, but his grandparents came from Nigeria. I was proud of where my family came from. My mom always told me to be proud, but Ms. Carter made me feel like I should be ashamed. When I got home that afternoon, Mom was already there. That was unusual. She usually got home after me. "Hey, baby," she said when I walked in. She was in the kitchen, still wearing her work clothes. A nice suit. Professional. "How was school?" "Fine," I lied. Moms have superpowers, though. They can tell when you're lying. She stopped chopping vegetables and looked at me. Really looked at me. "Maya, what happened?" And just like that, all the feelings I'd been holding in all day came pouring out. I started crying. Big, ugly tears that I couldn't stop. Mom dropped everything and came to me. She wrapped her arms around me and held me tight. "Tell me," she said softly. "Tell me everything." So I did. I told her about the math problem, about Ms. Carter's cold eyes, about the way she said, "Students like you," about how she accused me of cheating without any proof, about how everyone stared at me. Mom didn't interrupt. She just listened. But I could feel her body getting tense. Her jaw was tight. Her eyes were different. Not soft anymore. Hard. Focused. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "Maya," she finally said, "look at me." I looked up at her. "You are brilliant. You are capable. You are worthy of respect. What that teacher said to you was wrong. It was unprofessional. And it will be addressed. But Mom, she's the teacher. What can we do?" Mom smiled. But it wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that meant someone was about to learn a lesson. "Tomorrow," she said, "I'm coming to school with you." "Mom, no, that will make it worse." "Trust me, baby, it won't." There was something in her voice, something that made me think maybe she was right. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about what would happen tomorrow. Would Mom yell at Ms. Carter? Would that make Ms. Carter hate me even more? Would the other kids make fun of me for bringing my mom to school? I tossed and turned in my bed. Around midnight, I got up to get some water. As I walked past Mom's home office, I saw the light was still on. The door was open a crack. I peeked in. Mom was at her computer, typing fast. She had papers spread all over her desk. She looked focused, determined. "Mom," I said quietly. She looked up and smiled. "Can't sleep either." I shook my head and came into the room. "What are you doing?" "Just some work," she said. Then she patted the chair next to her. "Come here. Let me tell you something." I sat down. "Maya, do you know what I do for work?" I shrugged. "You have meetings. You wear nice clothes. You work with schools." She nodded. "I do work with schools. I'm on the school board for the city. Do you know what that means?" I shook my head. "It means I'm one of the people who makes decisions about how schools are run, about what teachers can and cannot do, about rules and policies. I help make sure schools are safe and fair for all students." My eyes got wide. You can do that?" "Yes, I can." She touched my cheek gently. "And tomorrow, I'm going to make sure what happened to you never happens to any other child." Suddenly, I understood. Mom wasn't just coming to yell at Ms. Carter. She was coming with power. Real power. "Get some sleep, baby," Mom said. "Tomorrow is going to be an interesting day." The next morning, I got ready for school with butterflies in my stomach. But they weren't scared butterflies anymore. They were excited butterflies. Nervous butterflies. The kind you get before something big happens. Mom wore her nicest suit. Navy blue with a white shirt. Her hair was perfect. She looked powerful. Important. We drove to school together instead of me taking the bus. The whole way there, Mom was quiet. Focused. Like an athlete before a big game. When we got to school, Mom didn't go to the office first. She walked straight to my classroom. I had to almost run to keep up with her. Her heels clicked on the floor with purpose. We got to Ms. Carter's room just as the morning bell rang. Students were filing in, sitting down, getting ready for the day. Mom walked in with me. Mr. Carter was at her desk, writing something in a notebook. She looked up when we entered. Her face showed surprise, then annoyance. "Can I help you?" she asked. Her voice was cold. "Parents are supposed to check in at the office first." "I'm not here as a parent," Mom said calmly. "Well, not just as a parent." She reached into her bag and pulled out a card. She handed it to Ms. Carter. I watched Ms. Carter's face as she read the card. Her eyes got wide. Her face went pale. "Mrs. Johnson," Ms. Carter said, and her voice was different now. Shaky. I didn't realize—" "No," Mom said. "You didn't. Can we speak in the hallway, please?" It wasn't really a question. Ms. Carter stood up quickly. She followed Mom out into the hallway. I stayed in the classroom with the other kids. Emma grabbed my arm. "What's happening?" she whispered. "I don't know," I said, but that was a lie. I knew exactly what was happening. Justice. That's what was happening. Through the small window in the door, I could see Mom talking to Ms. Carter. I couldn't hear the words, but I could see Ms. Carter's face getting redder and redder. She was nodding a lot. Her hands were shaking. After about 5 minutes, they came back in. Ms. Carter's eyes were red. She looked like she might cry. Mom walked over to me and kissed my forehead. "Have a good day, baby," she said. Then she looked around the classroom at all the students. "All of you have a good day. And remember, you are all brilliant. Every single one of you." Then she left. Ms. Carter stood at the front of the classroom. She cleared her throat. "Class," she said. Her voice cracked a little. "I need to say something." Everyone got quiet. Yesterday, I said something to Maya that was inappropriate and hurtful. I accused her of not doing her own work without any evidence. I questioned her abilities based on prejudice. She took a deep breath. "Maya, I am deeply sorry. You are an excellent student. You work hard. You deserve respect. I failed to give you that respect, and I was wrong." The classroom was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. "I hope you can forgive me," Ms. Carter continued. "And I hope all of you can learn from my mistake. Never judge someone's abilities based on how they look. Never make assumptions. Give everyone the respect they deserve." She looked at me. Tears were actually in her eyes. "Maya, I'm sorry." I didn't know what to say. My heart was pounding. Everyone was looking at me again. But this time, it was different. This time, I wasn't small. "Okay," I said. "Thank you." The rest of the day was strange. Ms. Carter was extra nice to me. Too nice. It almost made me uncomfortable. She called on me in class and praised every answer I gave. She smiled at me in the hallways. But I could tell something had changed. Not just with her, but with all the other teachers too. Word had spread fast. Everyone knew my mum was on the school board. Everyone knew what had happened. At lunch, Emma was bouncing in her seat with excitement. "Your mom is so cool," she said. "She's like a superhero." Other kids came up to our table. Kids who never talked to me before. "Is your mom really on the school board?" asked Jake. "Yeah," I said. "That's awesome," he said. And he actually sounded like he meant it. But the weirdest thing happened in the afternoon. Principal Hughes, the head of the whole school, came to get me from class. "Maya, can you come with me, please?" he asked. My heart jumped. Was I in trouble? I followed him to his office. Mum was there, sitting in a chair. So was Ms. Carter. So were two other people I didn't know. "Maya, come sit down," Principal Hughes said kindly. I sat next to Mom. She took my hand. "Maya," Principal Hughes said, "what happened yesterday was serious, very serious. Ms. Carter has apologized to you, which is good, but an apology isn't enough." He looked at the other adults in the room. "Ms. Carter will be attending mandatory training on cultural sensitivity and unconscious bias. She will also be on probation for the next 6 months. Any similar incident will result in termination." Ms. Carter nodded. She looked ashamed. "Maya," one of the other adults said. She was a black woman with kind eyes. "My name is Dr. Williams. I'm the diversity coordinator for the school district. I want you to know that what happened to you matters. Your voice matters. And we're going to make sure this school is a safe place for all students." I didn't know what to say. This was bigger than I thought. Mom squeezed my hand. "Do you have anything you'd like to say?" "Maya?" Principal Hughes asked. I thought for a moment. Then I looked at Ms. Carter. "I just want to be treated fairly," I said. "That's all, just like everyone else." "You will be," Dr. Williams said firmly. "You have my word." The next few weeks were weird. Really weird. Ms. Carter was different, super different. She didn't just apologize once and forget about it. She actually changed how she taught. She started calling on everyone equally. She praised all students, not just the ones who sat in the front row or had parents who were lawyers. But here's the thing nobody expected. Other teachers started changing too. One day, I was walking past Mr. Rodriguez's classroom. He taught 6th grade science. I heard him inside talking to his students. "Today, we're going to learn about scientists from all over the world," he was saying. "Not just the famous white guys you always hear about. Did you know that Dr. Patricia Bath invented a way to help blind people see? She was a black woman, a doctor, an inventor. Brilliant." I peeked through the door window. The students looked interested, really interested. Something was happening. Something bigger than just my situation with Ms. Carter. At home, Mom and I had a talk. A real talk. The kind where you sit at the kitchen table with hot chocolate and nothing else matters. "Maya," Mom said, "I need to tell you something important." "Okay," I said. "What happened to you?" "It happens to a lot of kids. Black kids, brown kids. Kids who look different or speak different or have different kinds of families. It's not right. It's not fair. But it happens." I nodded. I kind of already knew this, but hearing Mom say it out loud made it real. "But here's what I want you to understand," Mom continued. "You have a voice. What you experienced, what you said about it, what we did together, that mattered. It created change." "Change?" I asked. Mom smiled. "Big change. Because of what happened, the school district is implementing new rules. All teachers have to go through training now, not just Ms. Carter, all of them. They have to learn about treating all students fairly, about recognizing their own biases, about creating classrooms where everyone feels safe and respected." My eyes got wide. "Really? Because of me?" "Because of you," Mom said. "Because you were brave enough to tell me what happened. Because you were strong enough to stand up for yourself. You started something, baby. A good something." I felt warm inside, proud, but also confused. "Mom," I said quietly, "why didn't you ever tell me you were on the school board, that you had that kind of power?" Mom was quiet for a moment. She sipped her hot chocolate. "I didn't want it to change how you experienced school," she said finally. "I didn't want teachers treating you special because of who your mom is. I wanted you to be just Maya, a kid, a student. Someone who gets treated fairly, because everyone should be treated fairly, not because their parent has power." "But that didn't work," I said. "No," Mom agreed. "It didn't. Because some people still have prejudice in their hearts. Some people still make assumptions. And when that happens, when someone treats my daughter unfairly, then yes, I use my power to protect you, to create change, to make things better, not just for you, but for all students. I hugged her tight. Thanks, Mom. Always, baby. Always. A month after the incident, something incredible happened. Emma ran up to me at lunch, breathless with excitement. Maya, Maya, did you see the new bulletin board? What bulletin board? I asked. In the main hallway. Come on. She dragged me through the cafeteria, past the gym, to the main hallway where everyone walked. There was a huge new bulletin board. The title said, Excellence has no colour. Underneath were pictures and stories of successful people from all different backgrounds. Scientists, artists, doctors, teachers, business owners, activists. Some I recognised, some I didn't. But they were all black and brown people. People who looked like me. People who had done amazing things. A small crowd of students stood looking at it. I heard pieces of their conversations. I didn't know she invented that. He's so cool. Look, she's from our city. Ms. Carter was standing nearby. When she saw me, she walked over. Maya, she said softly, Dr. Williams and I worked on this together. We wanted students to see role models, to see possibilities, to understand that excellence comes in all colours. I looked at the board again, at all those successful, brilliant faces. Thank you, I said. And I meant it. Ms. Carter smiled, a real smile. No, thank you. You taught me something important, something I should have already known, but sometimes we need a wake-up call. You were mine. But not everyone was happy about the changes. One day, Jake's dad came to school. I saw him in the hallway, talking loudly to Principal Hughes. This is ridiculous, he said. All this focus on diversity and inclusion. What about teaching the actual curriculum? What about academic excellence? I froze. I wanted to disappear again. But Principal Hughes stood tall. Mr. Henderson, he said calmly but firmly, diversity, inclusion, and academic excellence are not opposites. They go together. When all students feel safe, respected, and seen, they learn better. They achieve more. The data proves this. But all these new rules for teachers, Jake's dad argued, all this training, it's too much. Treating all students fairly should not be considered too much, Principal Hughes said. His voice had an edge now. If a teacher can't do that, they shouldn't be teaching. Jake's dad stormed off, muttering under his breath. I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was Dr. Williams. You okay? She asked. Yeah, I said. But some people don't like the changes. Some people never do, Dr. Williams said. Change is uncomfortable. It makes people look at themselves and question things they've always believed. But that discomfort, it's necessary. It's how we grow. She knelt down so we were eye level. Maya, do you know what courage is? Being brave, I guessed. Being brave even when you're scared, she corrected. You showed courage. Your mom showed courage. And now others are learning courage too. Don't let the people who resist change make you doubt that. The school year continued. Things got better. Not perfect, but better. Jake actually became kind of my friend. Turns out his dad's opinions weren't his opinions. One day at recess, he came up to me. Hey, Maya, he said, looking embarrassed. I'm sorry about my dad. He says stuff sometimes that's not cool. It's okay, I said. You're not responsible for what he thinks. Yeah, but Jake kicked at the ground. I want you to know that I think you're really smart, like the smartest person in our class. I'm sorry I never said that before. I smiled. Thanks, Jake. Want to play basketball? He asked. Sure, I said. And we did. Just two kids, playing basketball, being friends. 3 months after everything happened, the school district had a special assembly. All the students from all the schools in the district came to the big auditorium downtown. Mom was there. She was one of the speakers. I sat in the audience with Emma and watched as my mom walked onto the stage. She looked so professional, so powerful, so beautiful. "Good morning, students," she said into the microphone. Her voice filled the whole auditorium. "My name is Angela Johnson. I'm on the school board. And I'm also a mother." She paused, looking out at all of us. "3 months ago, my daughter experienced discrimination in her classroom. A teacher made assumptions about her abilities based on the color of her skin. It hurt her. It could have broken her spirit. It could have made her doubt herself." I felt everyone's eyes on me. But this time, I didn't want to disappear. I held my head high. "But it didn't break her," Mom continued, "because she is strong. She is brave. And she spoke up. She told me what happened. And together, we demanded change." Mom's voice got stronger. "That change is happening now, in every school in this district. Teachers are being trained. Policies are being updated. We are creating schools where every child feels valued, where every child feels seen, where every child can achieve their full potential regardless of their race, their background, or their family's status." The audience was silent, listening. "But we can't do this alone," Mom said. "Teachers can't do it alone. Parents can't do it alone. Administrators can't do it alone. We need you, the students, to be part of this change too." She looked around the auditorium. "Speak up when you see injustice. Support your classmates. Celebrate differences. Learn about people who don't look like you or think like you. Be curious. Be kind. Be brave." Mom's eyes found mine in the crowd. Because one voice can change everything. One story can open eyes. One moment of courage can ripple out and create waves of transformation. She smiled at me. "My daughter taught me that. And now I'm teaching you." The auditorium erupted in applause. Students were clapping. Teachers were clapping. Even some parents in the back were standing and clapping. I felt tears in my eyes. But they were happy tears. Proud tears. After the assembly, kids came up to me. Lots of kids. "Your mom is amazing," said one girl. "That was so cool," said another. "You're really brave," said a boy I didn't even know. But the best moment came when a small girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old, tugged on my sleeve. "Hi," she said shyly. "My name is Lily." "Hi, Lily," I said. "Something like that happened to me too," she whispered. "A teacher said something mean about my family because we're from Mexico." My heart hurt for her. "Did you tell someone?" I asked. She nodded. "I told my parents, and they went to talk to the principal, and the teacher had to apologize, just like yours did." She smiled up at me. "Your mom said one voice can change everything. You changed everything. You made it so kids like me can speak up too." Thank you. And that's when I really understood what Mom meant. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about Lily, about Emma, about Jake learning to think differently than his dad, about all the kids who would come to our school in the future. I had started something, but it was bigger than me now. The school year ended. Summer came. When fall arrived and I started 6th grade, I was nervous. New teachers, new classes. Would things be different? They were, but in good ways. My new teachers had all gone through the training. They treated everyone fairly. They celebrated diversity. They made sure every voice was heard. Ms. Carter was still teaching 5th grade. I saw her sometimes in the hallways. She always smiled at me. Sometimes we talked. One day, she stopped me. "Maya," she said, "I want you to know something. What happened last year? It was the worst day of my teaching career. But it was also the day I learned the most important lesson of my life." "What lesson?" I asked. "That teaching isn't just about math or reading or science. It's about seeing every child for who they truly are, respecting them, lifting them up, and recognizing that my own prejudices, the ones I didn't even know I had, can hurt people. Real people. Kids like you." She looked emotional. "I'm a better teacher now because of you. I'm a better person because of you. So thank you for being brave, for speaking up, for giving me a chance to change. You're welcome, I said. And I meant it, because she had changed, really changed. A year passed, then another. I'm 13 now, in 8th grade. This is my last year at Lincoln Middle School. Next year, I'll go to high school. A lot has changed since that day in 5th grade, but some things stayed the same. I still love math. I still sit with Emma at lunch. I still do my homework and study hard. But I'm different too. Stronger, braver, more aware. Mom is still on the school board. She's actually the president now. She's worked hard to make sure what happened to me doesn't happen to other kids. Last week, a new student came to our school. His name is Omar. He's from Syria. He speaks English, but with an accent. I saw some kids making fun of him at lunch. I walked over to them. "Stop," I said firmly. "Why do you care?" one of them asked. "Because he's a person," I said. "Because words hurt. Because we should be better than this." They rolled their eyes, but they stopped. I sat down with Omar. "Hi," I said. "I'm Maya. Welcome to Lincoln Middle School." He smiled, looking relieved. "Thank you. It's hard being new." "I know," I said. Even though I'd never been the new kid, I understood feeling different, feeling judged. "But it gets better, and I'll help you. We'll be friends." His smile got bigger. "Really? Really?" That night, I told Mom what happened. She hugged me tight. "I'm so proud of you," she said. "You learned the lesson I hoped you'd learn." "What lesson?" I asked. "That power isn't just about having a fancy title or sitting on a board or being in charge. Real power is using your voice to stand up for others. Real power is choosing kindness even when it's hard. Real power is being the person you needed when you were hurting." I thought about that. About Ms. Carter humiliating me in class. About how small I felt. About how Mom used her power to protect me and create change. And now I was using my voice to protect Omar. "Mom," I said, "what happened to me that day with Ms. Carter? I used to wish it never happened, but now I don't." "No?" Mom asked, surprised. "No, because if it didn't happen, nothing would have changed. The new rules wouldn't exist. Teachers wouldn't have gotten trained. Kids like Lily wouldn't have known they could speak up. Omar wouldn't have someone standing up for him." I looked at Mom. "Something bad became something good. Because you believed me, because you had power. But also because I was brave enough to tell you. We did it together." Mom's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, baby, we did. And look at the ripples we created. Today is graduation day. We're graduating from Lincoln Middle School and moving on to high school. The whole auditorium is packed with parents and teachers and students. Everyone is dressed nice, excited, nervous, ready for the next chapter. Principal Hughes is giving a speech about our class, about our achievements, about our future. This class, he says, has been part of something special. 3 years ago, we began a journey of transformation, of growth, of becoming a school that truly values every student." He pauses and looks around. "That journey started with one brave student, Maya Johnson. Could you please stand?" My heart jumps. I wasn't expecting this. Slowly, I stand up. Everyone turns to look at me. "Maya," Principal Hughes says, "you showed us that speaking up matters. That injustice should never be tolerated. That one voice, your voice, can change everything." The audience starts clapping. Quietly at first, then louder. "Because of you, Lincoln Middle School is a better place. Because of you, hundreds of students have had a better experience. Because of you, teachers have grown and learned. You made a difference, Maya. Thank you." The clapping gets even louder. People are standing now. A standing ovation. I see Mom in the audience, tears streaming down her face. She's clapping so hard. I see Ms. Carter also clapping, also crying. I see Emma jumping up and down and cheering. I see Omar, new to our school but already part of our community. I see Dr. Williams, smiling wide, nodding at me. I see all the faces, all the people, all the change. And I realize something important. What happened to me that day in 5th grade was terrible, painful, humiliating, but it became something powerful. Not because I was humiliated, but because I was heard. Because I had a mother who believed me and had the power to create change. Because I learned that my voice matters. Because speaking up is scary, but staying silent is scarier. Because one moment, one terrible, awful moment, can transform into something beautiful if we're brave enough to face it, talk about it, and demand better. As I sit back down, Emma grabs my hand. "You're amazing," she whispers. "We're amazing," I say back. "All of us. Together." Because that's the truth. Change doesn't happen alone. It happens when one person speaks up and others listen. When someone with power uses it for good. When communities come together and say, "This isn't right, and we're going to fix it." When a teacher humiliates a student, but that student's mother is on the school board. When justice finds its way into the classroom. When a little girl learns she's stronger than she knew. That's when everything changes, and I'm so glad I was part of it. Sometimes the worst moments become the best lessons. Sometimes being hurt becomes the catalyst for helping others. Sometimes one person's courage creates ripples that change everything. My name is Maya. I'm 13 years old, and this is the story of how I learned that my voice matters. Never let anyone make you feel small. Never stay silent when something is wrong. Never underestimate the power of speaking your truth, because you never know who's listening. You never know what will change. You never know how your story might help someone else find their courage. Thank you for listening to mine.